What's up, you guys? It's your boy Ben Mahari here, represent Mahari Nation Sports Podcast. Much love to the entire LDBC. Um, I'll tell you what, man. 2021 is really got off to a very sad start, to say the least. And yesterday, I broke the story about the death of Hank Aaron, tragically. And this morning, I woke up and received a notification from CNN and CBS News that legendary talk show host Larry King has officially passed away at the age of 87. This was a guy that was, if you want to make a case that he was the face of CNN News for almost 25 years, you can pretty much say that, because this was a guy that was the face of talk show uh, television more than anything else. Um, I'm gonna start, talking about his early upbringing and how he started into the broadcasting business. Born as Lawrence Harvey Zeiger on November 19th, 1933 in Brooklyn, New York, King was raised by two Jewish immigrants. His mother, Jenny Glitz Zeiger, from Lithuania, while his father, Edward Zeiger, was hailed from Ukraine. Um, his father, Edward, died of a heart attack when he was only 10 years old. And Larry King pretty much admitted that he said he mostly blocked out the memory of the death of his father. Left uh, to raise his younger brother Marty alone, Jenny Zager was forced to go on welfare to support her children. The death had a profound effect on King and his mother. Um, King said his father had enormous influence on him, instilling in his son a sense of humor and love for sports. And no sport did he draw more attention to than baseball. He grew up as a fan of the Brooklyn Dodgers and continued to support the team after his move to Los Angeles. He was a fixture at the team's home games in Dodger Stadium and often spot at the highest priced seats behind home plate. In 2004, King wrote a book aptly titled "Why I Love Baseball." His media career began in 1957 when he took a job as a disc jockey at WHHR at dash AM in Miami. It was then that he made the decision to drop his surname and began using the name of Larry King. As he pretty much said, you can't use the word Larry Zeiger, as we called his boss at the station at the time. It's too ethnic, and people won't be able to spell it or remember it. You need a better name. There was no time to think about what was good or bad or what my mother would say. I was going on the air for 5 minutes, what he wrote in his biography. And he pretty much made his name into Larry King, and his career took off. It was right around that time that King would enter the becoming strings of failed marriages. Um, his union with Faria Miller was a new light, and the dates of his second marriage with Annette Kane are publicly unavailable. From 1961 to 1963, he was married to Elaine Cantus, who was began married from 1967 to 71 before they remarried. Then he tied the knot with Mickey Stupin in 1964 before they divorced in 1976. He had two more divorces before marrying his seventh wife back in 1997. Um, King remained in Miami for 4 years. He eventually got hired as a columnist for the Miami Herald in 1965. You understand what I'm saying? Um, by 1978, he returned to Miami to WIOD, the station where he employed at the time of his pretty much his arrest after being arrested on grand larceny, which led to his suspension from the station and the paper where he was employed at the time. The same year, the Larry King Show launched as a syndicated late night radio show, and originally aired for 28 cities within 5 years, and it spread to 118 cities, serving as a springboard to fame. And the show won a P. Boy Award in 1982. In 1985, Larry King Live was premiered on CNN and began a long storied run that included a number of high profile interviews. Throughout its more than 2 decades on the air, the show routinely was CNN's most watched program, and King was arguably the network's biggest star. King left CNN in 2011, a move he expected would amount to retirement, but he kept working until his death, hosting Larry King Now, a program that it was aired on Aura TV, Hulu, and RT America, it seemed, and he just never wanted the interview to end. Pretty much, he loved doing what he did best. Now, it came to his particular health issues. Okay, um, pretty much he was hospitalized with COVID-19 back in late December. Um, pretty much at that time, he battled a number of health problems, including several heart attacks. In 1987, he underwent a quintal bypass surgery, inspiring him to establish the Larry King Cardiac Foundation to provide assistance for those without insurance. More recently, King revealed in 2017 that he'd been diagnosed with lung cancer and successfully went surgery to treat it. He also went through a procedure in 2019 to address angina. All right. King also suffered a personal loss last year when two of his adult children died within weeks of each other. Andy King, who was 65 at the time, died of a heart attack, and his daughter, Chiela, King, died at age 52 due to lung cancer. And King was survived by three of his sons at the time. So yeah, this was a guy that was pretty much a legend in the media in terms of the broadcasting, in terms of the television industry. Certainly, this guy was the highest, you know, standard to radio talk show, to pretty much the two talk shows. I'll tell you this: I didn't really watch too much of it as a youngster. I was too young to. I didn't have CNN at the time, so I didn't just watch too much of it. But then and then when family started getting cable, I think between the early 2000s is when I started watching, Larry King, and I remembered several interviews he did back in the day. With He interviewed plenty of presidents, celebrities, music artists, you name it. This guy was just the model of consistency for for the network that pretty much is basically a political channel, you know. But I felt that he still had a little bit more mileage left in the tank when he basically resigned from CNN in 2011. I think he could have continued on for at least another 5 more years, or probably 10 more years if he wanted to. But I guess he felt like his time was pretty much sailed. And I think that the network was going to try to probably look to move to a different direction, outside of Larry King. So I think that played into his reasoning why he pretty much retired on the show. But he continued on doing his show. He had great interviews with, presidents like Richard Nixon, with Gerald Ford, Jimmy Carter, Ronald Reagan, uh, George Bush Sr., Bill Clinton, George W. Bush, President Obama. You name it. He pretty much interviewed a lot of the future presidents that you saw, in the decades to come. He interviewed great athletes like Mike Tyson, um, O.J. Simpson. I know that I think Michael Jordan made an appearance on Larry King. I think I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. But I but he also interviewed great music artists throughout his entire career, and he was just one guy that was never afraid to ask the questions that a lot of these talk show hosts are too afraid to ask because of the sensitivity that is going on in our society. So I have a great deal of respect for what he was able to achieve. He had a very difficult upbringing in his life, and the fact that he lost two of his older children in weeks of each other last year is had to be heartbreaking. I mean, it's just there's no other way to describe that at all. Um, I know that a statement was posted on his verified Facebook page. It said, "In quote, with profound sadness, Aura Media announces the death of our co-founder and host and friend Larry King, who passed away this morning at the age of 87 at Cedars Sinai Medical Center in Los Angeles. For 63 years and across the platforms of radio, television, and digital media, Larry Larry's many thousands of interviews, awards, and global acclaim stands as a testament to his unique and lasting talent as a broadcaster. Unfortunately, the statement did not give the cause of death, but I'm sure it will, come, in the days, after that. But it's gotta suck, man. I mean, we've lost, several good people to start 2021. We lost Hank Aaron yesterday, and now we lost, Larry King, which has to really, really suck, man. And I hope that the only thing that you can only hope for at this point is we celebrate the people that really made a difference, in our lives. We are sad that these people are physically gone, but what they were able to contribute and what they were able to achieve and what the standard that they pretty much piled during their respective careers is something that a lot of people should look up to, as they're looking to get up into the industry of their choosing. And I know that for me, I'm looking to go back into graduate school, and I'm certainly going to look at his career and what he was able to achieve, and pretty much take some of that and try to hopefully craft my own way into a very difficult industry. So, but respect to him, condolences to him and his family. I'm sure they're dealing with a really tough ordeal, losing a great guy like Larry King. So, but once again, I wanted to make sure to let you know that earlier this morning, Larry King, tragically passed away in Los Angeles, California, at the age of 87, and he was the staple of radio, digital media, and television for over 25 years. So, so it is what it is, though, man. Rest in peace to Larry King. So let me know what y'all think.